staff and his directors and his research people were able to find a woman named Kitty Oliver, who was a teenager in the crowd and who talked about this. And it's hard for many of us to really comprehend this, but many in the audience will. That who sat with white people for the first time and talked to them and had a relationship with them and was respected by them. And she's in the movie now as a grown-up historian who has done very, very well in her life and who remembers that day fondly.
Do you know, one thing about it is when you mention the movie, Ron Howard as director, what is it that's so unprecedented, do you think, and so unique about the movie? Why is it getting 100% reviews all over the place? Is it simply this? It takes you there.
Well, I think that's it. I think the bottom line to this movie is that if we weren't there in the age and the time it takes you to these great historical books and movies, and movies more so because they're living and breathing real people on screens, take you there. And Ron Howard has managed to take the mosaic of the most extraordinary moments and actually tell the story of their arrival in the United States, their story of their arrival on scene. By the way, the footage is breathtaking. I feel like finally come on the stage in Manchester, without a sound check, just go right into it and start performing songs and Hollywood Bowl, and they are truly a great band. And the other thing that I noticed, and I'm not a musical expert, and they asked me to explain music is like asking an electrician about his work.
They were very good. Greyland had a great policy vision records. They were remarkably for what they did, and they put a lot of pop singles and all that. And one of them was kids, you know, what can we do for children or for people who are trying to rear children speaking Irish? So this was one of their kind of things. Getting Neil Tuggan, who was fantastic, brilliant. So this is I haven't heard this in 45 years.
Let's listen now to Popeline, narrated by Neil Tuggan.
Vi påverkar även säsongen. Vi kopplar in gasdagen, och bestämmer sig vilka drogning över. Tina ag hemric fasta. The oak column. Shahed mucky hobby as a dad.
You all went to Closhdone, obviously, and it had great alumni like you, and Wayne, Nina Cassidy, but where or who set up a band first? Was it you, Rasa, and Ronan that set it up? Rasa.
Well, yeah, so when we came into Closhdone, I mean, we heard all about this music, but once we arrived in, Liam had left. Colin and Phil and Colin Windy were too busy doing their leaving cert to be involved in music kind of stuff. So there was no music in the school, no band. And, you know, it wasn't something we were expecting. It was just that's the way it was. There was a music teacher, Michael Holland, and he'd be teaching whistle technique, but there was, so by second year, there was a couple of us, me, Angus McInerney, Fergal McCarthy, Colin McInerney, were playing with each other in primary school from Scolarcon. So by second year, it was like, come on, let's set up a band. Ronan's playing the baritone now. And then Cullum said, well, there's this guy, Owen Dillon, he's playing the pipes. I was going, brilliant, okay. So we started up, set up, and started taking lots of time off classes to enter into competitions like Fesh, Clia and Sloga, and we got into it. We were kind of doing all right. We thought we were doing great, and we got into Sloga, and they didn't let us in. And there was like one of the guys said, yeah, they don't let people from Closhdone anymore. Not since the heyday. They're kind of got something against them. So I went into Gaelin, the office in Gaelin, Marion Square, me and Owen, and challenged him and says, you've just got something against Closhdone. We did a brilliant gig. Why aren't you just letting us through? You know. So he said, eventually, he said, okay, you've got another chance. And we had our chance and we blew it because we didn't rehearse. We made an absolute hames of the gig. So it took us years to get back. By the time we were rolling, it was in sixth year and I was in fifth year, we got a guitarist and a bass player in, so we said we'd enter that competition again. And we got to the finals. We got to the final. We played one of Colum's tunes, which was called Plenty of what's it called? The Physiotherapist, because he was a physio at the time. We named it for him. So we entered the competition anyway, and we got to the final. And the report was we didn't win, of course, because Ronan was too loud on the baritone. One of the pieces we played wasn't traditional, which is Colin's composed piece, and we also played bass, which isn't a traditional instrument. And I was like, get the hell! Anyway.
You're still wounded all these years on.
There's another way of thinking about it, you know. In a way, it's just as well that we didn't win, because you don't want to arrive at anything too early. You don't want to accept any accolades that you've actually climbed one else.
Yeah.
Your man John Kavanagh, fighting trainer, says win or earn. You know, but if you know.
Fight from him.
Yeah.
And Keela, when did that come about? How did that come about?
Exactly as Ross has said, whenever we were 16, 15 and all, and then Owen and Colin McInerney went off busking into town, and that was a new world, that was like Narnia for us. So we followed them in, and eventually Colin traipsed after us, probably to keep an eye on us. You know, and that opened, and then we met Glenn, Mick, Mark Dignam. And in a way, for me anyway, life took off. You know, it was an escalation. There was no return ticket. That was it. There was far too many incredible people, incredible musicians. You know, what I imagined was international standard. And all I wanted to do was be with them, play, learn, and play. Yeah, you can live off it, like you can feed yourself off it as well. But that was it, yeah.
And you've gone to great success. You're going to play a live piece of music for example, because actually Ronan, you are leaving us on the day that the interview Ireland, but you're going to see the son play hurling.
Yeah, Ferdy's playing a match in Wexford, a county final in about an hour. It's got me in my mind to have to make it down there.
Yeah, which county?
Wexford.
Yeah, great. Well, best of luck to him. So you're going to go over now. What are you going to play for us now? Live there, but try and
So
think
we'll
of
sing a song called Bug Bug.
You are Ronan.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, off you go. Angus, they leave you out of this.
Leave me
obviously.
out, thank God. Just wash my dishes, that's it. Just happy.
You do play something with them sometimes, don't you, Angus?
No.
When I walked in, they'd give you something.
They try and drag me into it all every now and again. I'm not very successful, but...
Okay, in your own time, guys.
Go, go, go.
It's amazing. You could just stand up there in front of them and sing like that.
Just go for it.
Sit down, come to the mic for 1 second, I'm going to let you go, Ronan. Because you 2 gigs yesterday as well. Did you realise they told me one that was up? You were up like 3 in the morning by the time you got back from the gig last night. But we're just going to take a break. Before you go, Ronan, I read some lovely messages. Ford says, Julie will be on to all my friends on here, especially Colin. Looking forward to Colin's next concert back home. Yeah. Catherine Brown says, tough for Poppeline and I feel that's not fair. Cheers here. Everyone says, great to hear Legends Cleela chatting to Miriam. Gigs coming up in Enniskillen and Greystones. I'll give you one more primary school flashback there. Listen to Miriam Cleela about his tough for Poppeline. Great to hear Tough on the radio. Listen, we're going to take a break. Going on here, leaving us. Keela and Angus, you're staying. Join us in a few moments.
Sunday with Miriam on RTE Radio 1.
When my mother had her stroke, she was caring for my father at home. It was a crisis over which we seemed to have no control. We turned to Home Instead Senior Care. Their advice was invaluable, and we managed to keep both our parents where they wanted to be, in their own home.
Home Instead bring a wealth of experience through the door, and an empathy that makes all the difference. It's all part of the Home Instead ethos. Find out more at homeinstead.ie.
RTE Radio 1's Rising Time and Voltron want to hear about your favourite tracks and trails as we celebrate the joy of movement. Why let pain stand in your way? Voltarol Extra Strength Gel, effective relief from joint pain all day long. Voltarol Emule Gel Extra Strength 2% weight by weight gel contains diclofenac diethylammonium. Always read the label.
Back to school means more time on the road. And you and your family can enjoy every minute of it with a perfectly tuned engine playing as the backdrop. Because now at BMW, you can get an excellent service for great value to make sure your BMW is in a class of its own. For unrivaled service and the ultimate school run experience, visit bmwservice.ie today to receive your personalised quote.
Today from 11 on RTE Radio 1.
Culture Night is fantastic because I always think it's the one night of the year where Irish people get an amnesty on their lack of going to galleries.
Yeah. It's like it's okay, you can go for the
You say
first
to
time.
someone, Ian, there's two things that typical Dublin has never done. A, read Ulysses, and B, see the Book of Kells, right?
Yeah.
So this is actually their chance to go to all those.
The Marion Finucane Show on RTE Radio 1 with Ireland's savings specialists. Bravo Direct, the straight talking savings bank.
The All-Ireland is upon us. And the Dubs make it 2 in a row. Or can Mayo overcome the curse of 54? Join us this Sunday from 2 p.m. for live commentary and analysis of the GAA Football All-Ireland Senior Championship Final. Sunday Sport on RTE Radio 1. Sunday with Miriam on RTE Radio 1. Ireland's property market and most beautiful homes on view in property with the Sunday Independent. The complete read.
Email miriam@rte.ie. Sunday with Miriam on RTE Radio 1.
Welcome back. 51551 is our text number, or Miriam@RT's email. My guests this morning are the O'Snuddick brothers, Rossa, Ronan and Colin. Ronan has just left us to go and see his son play hurling down in Wexford, and they're of course in the celebrated Ban Keela, and their other brother, Sinn Féin TD in chief with Angus O'Snuddick, is with us as well. Was it, Angus, where did you get your interest in politics? Was it a political upbringing?
Not a political party upbringing, but quite political, because we grew up kind of when there was campaigns, whether it was the Irish language in particular, kind of where we were demanding rights. So we mentioned earlier about Sculta and Queen, kind of there was a right to be expressed there, or a wrong to be righted. The environment, so for instance when we grew up there was a campaign to protect Sandymount Strand, for instance, because they were talking at the time about the Eastern Bypass and running it across. was kind of, it was a discussion that, you know, kind of, that's a terrible criminal justice act that was coming out at the time. That should be opposed by kind of everybody. It's a wrong approach. And Ross had been at the table. Sure, you can do that through Sinn Féin, and that's how my mother learned to join Sinn Féin.
And are you the only political brother as such, and not the only person who went into active politics?
I'm the only member of the political party in the house.
Do you both remember Ross and Colm Angus's first campaign? Did you all go out and canvass for him?
Yeah, you remember? No, I was too busy playing football. I was in the folding. I found a perfect way of folding A4 flyers really quickly, and had a whole system of putting these letters, and we'd be going around postering. I remember the guards following us around the Saturday around. Just being, you know, we don't like what you're doing kind of stuff. So putting up the posters, and I was like, well, do you want to see, I'd be good talking to them up the ladder saying, am I doing this one right? What do you reckon? Will I put it in closer? Will they were just there following us the whole way. It's kind of a bit heavy, but I think it's very funny that Angus got 818 first preference votes the first time he stood, and it was about 1,001 with transfers. And then the second time, and I don't know what the election was, maybe 2 or 3 years after, he got 818 first preference votes with 1,001 transfers. But that wasn't, Sandymount wasn't the place to be getting elected as a Sinn Féin representative.
And of course you were first elected in Dublin South Central, is that right, in 2002,
yeah.
And you've been re-elected 3 times since 2000.
Yeah, 2000.
Most recently taken the first seat. Do you like being a TD, or would you prefer to be in the band with your brothers in Keelan?
I don't have proper rhythm, and kind of I'm not a good musician in any shape or form, despite my mother's efforts. She tried to get us piano lessons and stuff when we were kids, and I didn't take to it anyway. No, I love what I'm doing. It's kind of in some ways the ethos we've grown up is to try and help others, and we've always done that as a family. Every one of us kind of has tried to help people who are worse off than ourselves. So I enjoy it. Otherwise, I wouldn't be doing it.
Actually, we're going to take another piece of music, but this is not a live piece you're going to play. It's from Mushroom, the Irish band. Tell me about this.
Colm, you can have a chat there.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose people ask where we got the influence, and Mushroom were a seminal influence on us in the 70s. It was the one kind of folk rock album that we had at home, and it was played to death and scratched to bits, and it was fantastic.
They were also rehearsing around the corner.
Yeah, well, but it was.
And your father bought it, and of course Angus McNally of this parish was in that band. And was it your father who bought it first for you?
Was it? Yeah. Oh yeah. See, he used to babysit Pat Collins, I think, and that was it. Pat Collins, I think, gave him the CD, or the CD gave him the album. And they're in the inside. It's solarized photographs with big kind of long hair and looking like perfect glam rockers. It was amazing. And this was landed onto us in Sandymount, where you wouldn't see much of that.
Okay, we're going to listen now to Mushroom's "Devil Among the Tailors." with Devil Among Potatoes, which is a choice of music of my guests this morning, who are the O'Snoddick brothers, and Keela, of course, along with their brother Angus O'Snoddick. Just before we take a break, lots of very nice reaction notes to say, guys. Jazzy Gate, the Clonic Snoddick was a good kill and modern, that's from on the Crown O, that's great door. What great music and the brothers fight for distinctive. Another person says, fair play to you lads, flying from Bannerfee or Porcupine, we were talking about that earlier. Donegal Collins says, I know their jobs, but it's talented, I cannot traffic with another star. I'll give you one more. Miriam, great to hear Keela. When I was a student, I worked for 3 weeks with their family, but before my mother was due to be born. Remember looking after Colin, who is here with his boy. They were able to take his house.
Show, weeknights from 8 on RTE Radio 1. There's no place like home. It's where we want to be with our familiar things around us. Thanks to Home Instead Senior Care, we were able to keep both our parents where they wanted to be, at home. It preserved their dignity and gave us all peace of mind.
Home Instead bring a wealth of experience through the door and an empathy that makes all the difference. It's all part of the Home Instead ethos.
Find out more at homeinstead.ie.
This is the sound of someone enjoying a run in the pine forest. Just one of the things you can do to help lower your cholesterol. Enjoying Benecol is another. Only Benecol yogurt drinks, pots and spreads contain plant stanols found in the heart of the pine forest, which can help lower your cholesterol. Benecol with plant stanol ester, an effective push to lower your cholesterol. Plant stanol ester has been shown to lower blood cholesterol. High cholesterol is a risk factor in the development of coronary heart disease.
This year, Mitsubishi